asking the question, what is the role of media in moral decadence? What is our role as media in moral decadence? We have a media practitioner, a very good friend of mine in the studio to help us unpack this conversation. Her name is Ife Omai. Now, Ife Omai is a trained journalist and has hosted radio and TV programs for over 4 years. She's also experienced with artists and label relations that has allowed her to be involved in several aspects in the music industry, such as providing editorial support and pitches for artists to global streaming platforms, A&R services for a number of record labels, as well as managing these artists through the creative process. She has worked with the likes of Bad Boy Teams, Ayofe from DMW, Sophie Grofi, and Jimmy Abdul's, to name a few. Good morning, Ife.
Hello, Eddie. Good morning.
So excited to see you.
I know.
The producer that has warned that I need to be very careful.
Yes, we need to simmer down.
Yeah, we need to simmer down. All right, let us get into the conversation very promptly. Now that we are looking at our role, the role of media in moral decadence. You have worked in the media space for quite a while, and now you're working in the music space, you know, with management, AR now, and all this kind of thing. So having you on this conversation seems very ideal. All right. Now our background to this conversation is a recent story of the young girl, the young children. You know, there's been a lot of focus on the young girls. So the young children who have been involved in some immoral activities and have been widely circulated over social media. First of all, what is your reaction to that particular story?
I mean, when I saw it, I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch the video. When I heard about the story, I was very shocked. I was like, okay. But then that lasted for like 5 seconds, and I remembered, yeah, maybe everything is a lot more spicy now, but it's nothing new under the sun. Like, I know people who did this when I was growing up. I went to a boarding school as well, so yeah. There was a lot of experimenting going on and stuff. I think the only difference is that we didn't see anyone putting their families on TV, on YouTube, and putting their lives on YouTube. You know, all sorts of people put everything on YouTube these days. Yeah. Like the things that are sacred to just homes and like normally you just see in your house all over the internet. I didn't see that growing up. So maybe when I was busy doing my own version of experimenting, I didn't have the urge to like put a camera in front of me. But I have very young cousins that I'm close to, so I know that their growth, their pace is quite different and faster than ours. It's very hard for me to kind of talk about this, especially when you involve kids, because I work, like you mentioned, in the media industry, but also in the music industry. Yeah. And that is a bit more spicy. So I know that has a lot to do with, you know, when you talk about moral decadence and everything like that, it's always under so much chastisement in terms of our music videos, lyrics, style, lifestyle, kind of lifestyle that they're promoting and everything like that. But when you now add kids into that mix, it gets very tricky because, like you mentioned before I joined the show, we are not catering to them. So then whose responsibility is it to then guide these people? I'm not going to lie, I don't think it is. I still think it's the parents, but I also think that as a society, we do have a part to play when it comes to children. For me, children and women, and I know people might come for me with this one, but I think children and women do need to be protected. And I'm only going to put women in there because they are the ones that are right now extremely at risk in that regard. But I think with kids, it is everybody's responsibility as a society to guide them, to preserve them. It's the reason why as adults you don't curse in front of kids, you don't drink in front of kids. It's not because you can't do those things or like, you know, it's not up to you or whatever, but it's because as children you need to like protect their innocence. But it starts to get very tricky when you put it on a mass scale. Like, are all people supposed to be interested in your child? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in your own kid, like how do you manage and like so.
All right. Okay. So I'm glad that you mentioned that you work in the music industry, and to take your word, it's a bit more spicy. You know, than for instance what we do as a breakfast show, on tea or coffee, right? So you know, given your work in this space, would you say that the media that is produced these days, you know, the kind of music videos that are produced these days, the kind of music that is being put out, is somehow responsible for a decline in moral values in our society today?
Honestly, I don't know. I think I have to deconstruct that question in itself. Please don't come for me. But moral decadence, yes, is tricky. Because for someone like me, I personally think in this community, in this society, it's used as a trifling tool for progression.
Interesting.
Yes, I think it is. Even when you Google moral decadence, the things that come out and the way that it's used in this society it trifles progression to me. I think people are allowed to progress. I think we should progress as a society, and morality in itself is a very perspective thing. My sense of moral is very different from yours. Like, it's very different from a Christian's to a Muslim's. What aligns a agnostic person, what aligns an atheist, or someone who practices veganism probably doesn't have the same morals as someone that eats meat. Like, it's very different. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to morals, which is why I probably prefer to talk about laws, like have policies that govern everyone. But when it comes to morals, how do you implement that as a society? So when people start to talk about moral decadence in a societal way, I feel like it's always to trifle progression.
Interesting.
Personally.
So you are clamoring more for, from what I'm saying, from what I'm hearing, you're clamoring more for liberalism.
Absolutely.
In our society.
Absolutely. And I think that if you decide that you want to have kids in this day and age, you have to be well equipped for that. I think what I would tell the parents of 50 years ago is not what I'll tell the parents of today. And also when I'm ready to have kids, I think, I have to start thinking about internet. I have to think about how like what I want to expose them to, what kind of music I want them to have. We're in a very different world, and it's very, very, very fast paced. So I'm not for silencing anyone, or like the kids need to know that that world exists. It's a very big place. It's bigger than your living room and your mom and dad. People have lives that they want to live, and like, I don't think because kids are living with us in this world, we will not now do certain things that we're not supposed to do. But I think that the guardians and the parents and the people involved in children's lives do have a massive responsibility to help digest this overload of information that the kids are exposed to.
Yeah, so the responsibility falls back to the parents.
Not just parents, really.
Okay.
Teachers, aunties.
Okay.
Like, I babysit my cousins all day. I'm part of those people. Like, when I'm talking to them, I'm talking, like, the other day I was in my cousin's house, and she was doing like this and sending pictures to a boy. And I'm like, that's how I used to start. And then I was saying, now, why are you sending pictures to a boy? Like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, why am I complaining that her friends send nudes to boys? This baby's 11.
Wow.
So I have to then, in that situation, I'm carrying the role of a parent by educating her on that. I mean, at the end of the day, she's going to do what she's going to do.
Yeah.
But, it's my job to, like, kind of protect that innocence. I think that's the only thing you can ask anyone around kids to do, protect the innocence.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so it's interesting you've said that story, because my next question is, how do you now walk that thin line? On one side, you work in the music business, which is spicy, and then on the other line, you go back home and you're sort of a role model or sort of a parent. But then in the other side where you work, you're creating content, music content, media content that is probably not for kids. So how do you walk that
I think
line?
it goes back to what I was saying earlier about morals being a very personal thing. It then boils down to me, Ife. Who am I? Am I a music industry person, or am I a woman with many, many layers? Do you get what I'm saying? How I am in the studio is not how I am with my partner. It's not how I am with my family, my mom that's over 60. It's definitely not how I am with kids. And I think my moral standards would reflect on these kids. And when they're talking about the girl, everybody started saying what she's saying at home, It might not even be home. It might be her friend that she goes to see. Like, kids are an open book or an open canvas that you can pour sorts of colors on there and it sticks. And then also, like, you have to understand that kids also come with their own sense of being. There's a lot that I can give to my cousin. There's a lot I can say about sending pictures, about how pictures stay on the internet forever, about how you think about the future. But she herself would decide who she is. Just like how I'm deciding who I am when I'm in the studio or when I'm at home or when I'm talking to my 11-year-old cousin.
Yeah. All right. Now, do you think, now taking all of this that you've said, I've really enjoyed this conversation, but taking all of this that you've said, can we do better as media practitioners? Can we, in a way, when I say can we do better, can we help parents? Can we make the job and the role of a parent or an educator easier with the kind of content that we create?
I would say absolutely, but at the same time, I will also say we're already doing that. You made a good point before I joined the show about how you rate shows. Because you have to cater to different. You see, even this media practitioner thing that we're saying is very deep. There's media practitioners for politics. That's a whole entire different
ballgame. Yeah.
There's local news, there's international news, there's sports, there's business, there's lifestyle, there's entertainment. In that entertainment, there's acting, there's music, there's poets, there's dance, there's all sorts. Do you get what I'm saying? So media practitioners are diverse in that sense.
Right.
So which media practitioner are you talking about? Which is why the only thing we can do is label properly the kind of content that we do. And I think we're already doing that. So as my own, let's say if I do have kids and stuff, what are they allowed to watch? How am I supposed to? It's not an easy job, which is why you should probably reconsider if you don't have many eyes to watch over your kids or you don't have the attention to give those kids. Because I think in today's world, you really need to observe their stuff. This girl that I'm talking about now, when I had a conversation with her mom about what I saw, her mom says that they actually check their internet browsers every day.
Okay.
They check their internet browsers every day.
Yeah.
They have locks on shows based on how they've been rated. Locks on movies as well. They talk about what their days are like. They make their kids feel very comfortable to bring their curiosity to the table.
Right.
I think they're doing the best that they can.
Yeah.
That might not be enough. You don't know. God forbid, one of them can come out and come and do sex tape tomorrow. But the parents can only do what they can do. Do you get what I'm saying? And if the parent that spends 99% of the time with them can only do what they can do, best believe media practitioners fall in the same category. We cannot parent.
Yeah. Oh, this has been fun. Okay, you know what? I want your final thoughts. So that is your camera, right?
Okay.
Like parents are watching, educators are watching, media practitioners are also watching. I want your final thoughts on this topic, the role of media in moral decadence, as we wrap up this interview.
Parents need to progress with the society. You can't beat the system you don't know. You need to know what is actually out there. You need to know what the media actually, what exists on the media, and then you can know how to guide your child through that exposure. Social media is, as I know as a parent, even you might struggle sometimes with the kind of information that you get. So how much more your kids put things like timers. There are tools available to you, YouTube. There's all sorts of parenting tools that will help you to guide these new age kids that we are making. And I wish you the very best, but give us, the media practitioners, some slack as well. We are also just trying to figure it out just as much as you are. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much for coming on this conversation, Ife or Mai. The topic we are dissecting this morning on Tea or Coffee is the role of media in moral decadence.